Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about consistency. Consistency is super important in design because when we're consistent with the way that we use colors, fonts, components that we've designed for our website, we can train users to expect certain things and also help them to complete certain actions. So it can help them move through a flow that we want them to. Also, when we focus on consistency and really pay attention to those details, it can make the whole design feel like it's higher quality. The user won't actually be able to put their finger on why it feels that way, but it will just have this overall level of polish to it, and it'll be a great user experience because everything will be where they expect it to and where you've trained them to think it will be. Consistency goes hand in hand with making a design and a company feel trustworthy and reliable too, and those are all good things we want, right? So let's talk about the best ways to achieve consistency in your designs. This video is sponsored by Webflow. They are a website building tool that is built with designers in mind. I really love it. I use it a lot. And they've got a lot of great features that can help you with consistency too. So I'm going to show you them in this video as well. Okay, so when you're designing a website, especially if you work in-house or if it's an ongoing project that you work on, you won't be designing every single page of the website at the same time. But even though you might be designing different pages of the website at different times, you still need to achieve a consistency across the whole thing. You can't design each page in a silo. You've got to pay attention to how it fits into the site as a whole. And the key to doing this well, the key to getting consistency across your site is to be using design patterns. Design patterns are something you can establish as you're creating that are basically a set of rules for your design. But don't be put off by the term rules because you are the one creating the rules. So it's up to you if you want to break them as well. When you're looking to create consistency, I'm not just talking about things like fonts and colors, although those are good starting points. I'm also talking about things like spacing and the padding that you use on your website. I'm talking about all headers being the same height, the footer being the same on every page, rules for when you use one color of a navigation versus another. And then if there's elements that you tend to repeat across various pages of your site, like say, for example, a quote box. This is something that I often use in my designs to share a testimonial. Those should look the same across every page that it's used. Maybe the quote icon changes, but the design as a whole stays consistent and follows a pattern that you've created. The best way that I've found to go about creating a pattern is honestly just to start with one page. Design one page how you want to, move on to the next one, and if you find that there are elements from that first page that you designed that you should be bringing into this one too, then do it. Say for example, on one page you've got some text in a block that takes up like half the width of the container. If you're going to do the same thing on another page, make sure you use the exact same styling. Even if the color's different, make sure that the padding is the same. Make sure that the corner radii are the same. A good rule of thumb as you're designing is to look at the component you just created and ask yourself if there's anything remotely similar on one of the other pages on your site. And if there is, take a cue from that. Another important thing I want to note about design patterns is that they can change too. But when you update them in one place, you should update them in all places. I'm a marketing designer, right? So I've been designing for the same website for the past 1.5 years. Obviously in that time I have grown my skills, I've got new ideas and like new better ways to design something. And so when that happens, rather than just sticking with the thing I did at the very start because, you know, that was setting the pattern, instead I'll update that and then update it across the board because I found a better way to do it, if that makes sense. So really it's about asking yourself questions as you go through and design, and it'll become second nature after a while if you're working on the same project. I want to share with you a few ways you can put this into action in Webflow because like I said, they do have a lot of features in the product that make this really easy to stay consistent, so there's no excuses. The first one I'm going to mention maybe seems obvious, but it was actually a really nice surprise for me one day when I just tried it accidentally and it worked. And that is that you can copy and paste whole elements in Webflow, not just from one page to another within one project, but between projects as well. So something you could do is if you have a certain navigation style or something that you really like the way you've designed, a certain quote style, for example, you can save these into like a master project, and then whenever you want them, you can just open up that project and copy and paste it into the place that you need it. The next super handy feature for keeping things consistent in Webflow is symbols. So this is where I can make an element, then I can come in here and click create symbol, and now I can drop that symbol onto any other page that I like. And then the best part is, if I want to make an update to this, instead of having to remember to update it in all places, I can actually just double click, go into the symbol itself and make the edit there, and it'll update across all of the pages that I used it on. super handy. I use this especially for things like navigation because I think that's a really important thing to be consistent across your site. If nothing else is consistent, make sure your navigation is. Then for the last thing I want to tell you about, I need to explain quickly that when you're designing in Webflow, you are actually writing code. It just doesn't really feel like you are, but all of the actions that you're doing in Webflow is actually creating code in the background. I have a whole video about that. If you want to watch it, it'll be linked on a card, which I think is in that corner. So something that's really great for consistency is using classes well. CSS classes allow you to apply a style to one div, and then to apply that style to another one, you just have to literally type the class name in and boom, it'll be styled the same. And just like I was talking about with symbols, if you make an edit to a class on one element, it'll update across all of the other elements that you've used that class on. I know in Webflow that it can be really easy to just quickly style an element to look the same. Say if I've got this box, for example, I want to style another one to look like it, I can just quickly edit the corner radius, change the background color, and boom, it's going to look the same. But if I use classes instead to make these boxes the same, it's so much easier to update later on if I want to, and also to use this style again quickly anywhere else on my site. I really hope this video inspires you to go over your designs with a fine-tooth comb and look out for opportunities where you can be creating design patterns and bringing in consistency, because it is just going to add this layer of polish to your design that, like I said, is hard to define sometimes, especially for a user. They might not be able to describe why one design just looks and feels better than another. But consistency is often the reason. It's gonna make it look a lot more professional. It's gonna make you a much more professional designer when you pay attention to this sort of thing. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and do it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to jump into Webflow and start trying out some of the consistency tips and tricks I gave you, then you can do that for free. Have a play around at the URL here and also linked in the description. If you're new to my channel, first of all, thanks for watching this far into the video, and also make sure you hit subscribe because I make new videos like this about design every single week, and I'd love to have you back here for the next one. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.